A lot of people think reviewing a contract is just about ticking a box, but we're going to dive in and see why it's so much more than that. Honestly, it's one of the most critical skills you can have in sourcing. When you get it right, you're protecting your company, but if you get it wrong, oh, it can cost you millions. So today, we're going to break down the ultimate checklist that'll turn you from just a contract signer into a real contract strategist.
Come on, we've all been there, right? You sign that supplier agreement, it looks fantastic on day one. But by month 6, it's a complete nightmare. That sinking feeling of being trapped in a bad deal, that is exactly what we're going to learn how to avoid for good.
What's really fascinating is the mindset people bring to this. Most just see a contract as this bureaucratic hurdle, a piece of paper you have to get signed so you can file it away and move on. But leaders, they see something totally different. They see a strategic system, one that's designed to control risk, protect profit margins, and lock in value. And trust me, that shift in mindset, it's everything. All right, so let's get right into the checklist. We're starting with the absolute foundation. Because before you even glance at a single legal clause, you have to make sure the whole agreement is built on solid business ground. A real leader starts right here with these questions. They're asking, wait, does this contract actually say why we're even doing this? Does it line up perfectly with what our stakeholders said they needed? Is there a real validated business case for this? Or is this just somebody's pet project? And hey, have we even properly screened this supplier? If you can't say yes to all of these, the rest of the contract is basically built on quicksand. And that brings us to our first non-negotiable rule. It is so simple. No clarity, no signature. If there is any confusion, any doubt about the core purpose of this deal, you stop, full stop. You either get that clarity or you walk away. It's really that simple. Okay, next up, the scope of work, or the SOW. Now, this is not just a to-do list for the supplier. Think of it as a super detailed blueprint of exactly what you are getting for your money. We're talking deliverables, milestones, and how you'll officially say, yep, this work is done right. This right here is where most arguments start. And please, remember this forever. Any ambiguity, any vague language in that scope of work is always going to benefit the supplier, not you. When you see phrases like general support or industry standard, those are huge red flags. A leader demands precision. So, before you go any further, here are your 2 action items. First, walk over to finance and confirm the business case is still rock solid. Second, get it in writing. I'm talking an email from your main stakeholders confirming that yes, the deliverables in this contract are exactly what they need. No assumptions allowed. All right, let's move on to the money. Section 2 is all about protecting your company's margin, and that means understanding the true long-term cost of any deal you sign. So I want you to ask yourself a question, and be honest. When you're looking at a contract, are you just focused on that price tag on the first page, or are you digging deeper to find the total cost of ownership? Because let me tell you, there is a massive difference. A supplier might dangle a really attractive number right in front of you. $50,000. It looks great, it fits the budget, everyone's pressuring you to just get it signed. This is the bait. But a leader knows you have to look past year 1. Because when you factor in all those hidden costs, that $50,000 deal is actually a $95,000 commitment over 3 years. We're talking nearly double the price. So how does that even happen? Well, it's the total cost of ownership, the TCO. It includes everything. We're talking about those onboarding and integration fees, those mandatory support packages that, just happen to get more expensive every single year. And of course, my favorite, the renewal hikes that are conveniently buried on page 27. Leaders hunt for these numbers like a detective. Okay, so here's what you do. First, you make the supplier give you a written 3-year TCO projection. Put them on the record. Second, you protect your company's cash flow. You fight for payment terms of at least net 45, maybe even net 60 days. Okay, we've got the business case aligned, we've protected the margin. Now we need to build our safety net. This part is all about what happens when, not if, but when, things go wrong. Let this one really sink in. If you see the phrase best effort in a contract, just cross it out. Why? Because you can't measure it. You can't enforce it. It literally means nothing. It's just legal code for no effort. Instead, you have to demand specific, measurable, service-level agreements that have real financial penalties when they fail. So your safety net has to include these key things. Indemnity, which is really just a fancy word for who pays the legal bills if you get sued because of something your supplier did. Data security protections are absolutely non-negotiable these days. And you need to see verified proof of their insurance. A promise to pay you back is worthless if they don't have any money. And this might be the most important role of them all. If a supplier makes it incredibly difficult or crazy expensive to leave them, that is a giant flashing red flag. You must always have a clear, reasonable way to exit the relationship. So here are your 2 actions for a safe exit. 1. Make sure there is a termination for convenience clause. This is your no-fault escape hatch. It lets you end the contract for any business reason, not just because they messed up. 2. Make sure the contract explicitly says the supplier will help you transition away and will give you all of your data back. No arguments. We're almost there. We've built a solid, strategic agreement. This last section is like the final pre-flight check, those last-minute administrative steps that stop simple but incredibly costly mistakes. Be on high alert for the auto-renewal trap. Oh, suppliers love this one. They slip in a clause that quietly renews your contract, usually for a higher price, if you don't cancel 90 days ahead of time. Leaders, on the other hand, demand that every single renewal requires their active, written approval way in advance. You would be shocked at how many bad deals get signed because of simple sloppiness. Are you absolutely positive this is the final approved version? Are all the changes you agreed to, the red lines, actually in this document? And is it being saved in a central place where you can actually find it and manage it later? These little details have huge consequences. So, your last 2 action items before you pick up that pen. 1. Do a final version check. Compare the document you're about to sign with the final one that legal approved. 2. The second it's signed, open your calendar and set a renewal reminder for 120 days before the contract ends. Do it right then and there. And after all of that, it really comes down to one last, powerful question. If this supplier completely disappeared off the face of the planet tomorrow, are we okay? Are we protected? The answer to that question has to be a confident yes. So let's just bring it all home. Stop thinking about contracts as paperwork. Start seeing them for what they really are. Powerful risk control systems that you get to design and command to protect your business and guarantee value. So go ahead, save this checklist, use it on every single agreement. I don't care if it's big or small. Your future self, the one who isn't stuck in a terrible deal, is absolutely going to thank you for it.